it's Nikki and welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing the speed build for the Hilliard family that I put up the video for last week. I had, again, I had like a floor plan picture for this house and this one didn't work exactly the way that I wanted it to. Um, through I don't really know why it didn't. A part of it was the lot size, I think, and part of it was me just having a hard time envisioning exactly what I wanted. Um, I built it, well, I built the shell of it and didn't like it. It wasn't working the way I wanted it to, so I bulldozed it, started again, and I forgot to bulldoze the roof, which is why when I went up to the roof, there was already roof pieces there. But I started again and it was starting to work better for me. It took me forever to pick doors because part of the problem was that I picked medium wall height and then put the platforms in at the entrance instead of a porch. So there's platforms on the outside and on the inside right at the front door. So I picked medium walls for that so that the Sims could still walk through. And so I had to pick short height doors for the front door and then medium height doors for the inside so that it didn't look weird that there was incredibly short doors on the inside. So I had the hardest time trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I ended up just using the Seasons build mode expanded that I used in the first house, just because they worked the best. Um, I'm hoping on the next build that I won't use those again because I've used them 2 times in a row now and I like them, but I don't want to keep using them because obviously I have a lot of options for doors. So I went and used the Seasons build mode expanded windows as well. I just used them in a different swatch because I thought the contrast looked really nice, that the doors were a little bit darker than the windows. Um, I had a picture for the house, and on the outside, I don't feel like the house looks like the floor plan or the picture did. The floor plan, I think, is relatively similar, if not almost exactly the same. Um, but the outside does not look the same. Part of it is the roof because the way that the roof was in the original picture, I don't think you can do in The Sims, and I'll put a picture of it here so that you can see what I'm talking about. Um, so I had to kind of just do what I could. I like the way it turned out. It looks pretty good. Um, I know I can do better, which I'm still getting used to filming for the channel. Normally in my builds, um, I'm just building because I'm either going to play in the house or I just saw a house somewhere that I really liked and I wanted to build. So this isn't the type of house that I normally build. I'm more into modern type builds. So when I was having issues with this, I wasn't exactly sure how to fix it because this is not my normal style of house. Um, so that's why I feel like this house isn't completely up to my standards. Um, so I'm hoping with the next house, I already have the next house picked out, that I won't have the same issue because I like that house a little bit more. And not to say that this is a bad house because I actually really like this house. It just didn't turn out exactly the way that I was envisioning it. Um, but otherwise, I do like this house. I had a lot of fun with it. The layout I really like. The layout for the bathrooms is really weird because it's set up where the communal part of the bathroom is the toilet and the shower, and then the sinks are individual. So the master bedroom has its own sink section, and then the second bedroom has its own sink section. And as I was doing this, I was like, this is kind of a cool idea, but because of the way this house is shaped, the bathroom is shaped really weird for that. I feel like if I could have reconfigured the bathroom a little bit differently, it would have been better. Or if I didn't use all the walls, I feel like it could have been just one big bathroom without the walls that are separating the master bathroom sink from the second bathroom sink. I think if there was just no walls in there, it was just one big bathroom, but was still laid out the same, it would have been better. And I did upload this shell um, right up to there, right before it cut to where I'm doing the kitchen. So if you want to download this house, you can feel free to take down those walls if you want to. Um, I actually think it might be better without those walls. Um, but that's just my opinion. I don't know because I didn't go in and actually try it to take those walls down to see. Um, but in my opinion, it probably would be better. The only thing that I would say is the one wall, I would leave one wall tile piece on both sides of the shower tub because the way that it is there's only the curtain on the front of it. The curtain doesn't wrap around. So unless you have a wall piece on both sides of it, it looks kind of weird just sitting there like that. But that's completely up to you. And if you decorate it how you want it and you don't decorate it how I have it, um, not a big deal. You don't even have to have those wall pieces. That's just my opinion for the shower tub that I used. Here in the kitchen, I kept with the brown and white theme that I was going with. I really like this backsplash wall that I did, walls rather. Um, I got this one, and I think there's two other ones that are similar, and I really like them, and I keep trying to use them, but um, they don't always work in the kitchens that I'm doing. But I think they worked out really nicely here, and they're really pretty. And they're supposed to be a glass. It's kind of hard to tell unless you've like really zoomed into it, but it's really pretty and I really like it. Um, I wanted the kitchen to have good appliances because the son has the cooking aspiration, and when he grows up to be a young adult, that would be what his career is. He would be a chef. So I wanted this kitchen to have decent appliances so that he could work on his cooking skill until he grows up and moves out. Assuming he moves out, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to play with this family or not ever. But while he's living in this house, I wanted the kitchen to have nice appliances for that reason. I didn't want to over clutter it, but I wanted it to look like it was a kitchen that was used. So I made sure to put out like the knives and the cutting boards. I use that little can of cooking spray because I we always have cooking spray in our kitchen, cooking spray, and we have like two different kinds of oil and like a bunch of different seasonings and stuff. So I wanted to make it look like it was a kitchen that was used often. Um, I really like how it turned out at the end. Um, I put all this stuff on the counter, and I think I put a few things on the back wall behind the stove, um, past what is already up there. I think I put um, like one of the chalkboard menus up there too. Um, I really like it. I think it turned out very nicely. I did the columns with the spandrel. Um, I don't remember if that was my original intent when I went into this. It's been a little bit since I recorded it. Um, I don't remember if that was my original intent when I sat down for it, but I like it. I think it turned out well. The screenshots at the end show the very top of the columns and the spandrel cut off, which is really weird. And I've never noticed that it does that because it's. I know that whenever you put like the cabinets up on the wall, there's like a little bit of space between the very top of it and the top of the wall because the ceiling cuts down a little bit. But I had never realized that it cuts down the top of columns, and so it makes the top of the columns and the spandrel look a little bit odd in the screenshots. Nothing you can do about that. I just thought it was odd. Um, but otherwise, I like how the columns and the spandrel looks. I think it looks pretty neat. And now I've moved on to the living room. I thought that the living room would turn out a lot worse than it did, just because it's narrow and because of the platforms there at the entryway. I thought it would be difficult to decorate it in a way that everything fit and it wasn't too cluttered. Um, I think it ended up pretty nicely. I did put that flower arranging table there at the front door because one of the mom's skills that she got in the cast story mode was flower arranging. So I wanted to make sure that she had a flower arranging table, and there wasn't really enough room to put it anywhere outside, and there's not like a backyard on this house. So I just put it at the front door because then she could still look outside and see outside. Um, and there's a little bit of room around the front if she were to plant flowers out there. Not a whole lot of room, but I think there's enough room that she could have a few plants out there if she wanted to. Um, or if you play with this house and you wanted to plant um, flowers or vegetables or whatever out there, I think there's enough room that you could. If not, you could just move this house to a slightly bigger lot. This was a 20 by 30, I believe. So if you moved it up one to a 30 by 40, I think you would definitely have enough room then at that point. You could even make a backyard at that point. This house was just something that I had already picked out for this specific lot. So it ended up taking up pretty much the whole lot without really enough room for a backyard, which was fine because some of my others in this in Willow Creek will have backyards. So I wasn't concerned by the fact that there wasn't really backyard space for this one. I really liked how I kept with the brown and white theme, and then I brought in some of the green because the outside was originally going to be green and I couldn't find a really nice green that I liked. It ended up being that it's like a teal kind of like green with a little bit of blue in it. So I tried to bring the green inside and I used some plants and like the pictures of the plants in there in the kitchen and the green on the rug in the living room. This little thing that I do here, my original idea for this was from a movie from my childhood. Um, I believe it was called Man of the House. I don't remember for sure. But it was, I think, like Chevy Chase and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. It was an old, like, 90s movie, and the mom had like fishing nets or something on her wall, and every time her and her son would go out and they would collect stuff, they'd bring it home and they'd hang it on the wall, and at the end of the movie it was complete. And so that was kind of what I envisioned for it, and it wasn't working out the way I wanted it to. So I ended up stopping recording, and the next day I went back in and I had this idea to put those little shelves on it and to put stuff on the shelves. So it wasn't exactly the way that I envisioned it, but I think it turned out really pretty. I actually really, really like it, and if I could do this in every house, I probably would. Just I think it turned out really nicely. It's a nice little um, focus piece for that chunk of wall there. I really like it. It turned out really nicely. Now I've moved on to the bathrooms. I tried to keep the sink area on both pieces of the bathroom relatively identical because there was more room on the master bedroom side. I have this sink in one tile and two tile wide, so I was able to use it so that they looked similar, but just slightly bigger in the master bathroom. And I used the same like bathroom accessories or bathroom decor in both sides, but just changed up the colors. The only thing that was different is I used the toilet paper in the master bathroom because there's only one toilet and it's in that other section of the bathroom. And the plants are different. I spent a really long time trying to figure out a plant that would fit there, and I kept scrolling through my plants and scrolling through them, and I just could not find something that worked. And I eventually found one that I liked. I just had a really hard time because that little bit there is so narrow, and I needed something somewhat tall, but not too tall, and everything kept clipping or jumping up on the sink right there, and I thought if I moved the sink it would look weird because it would be off center on the wall. I eventually found that little white one um, that I really liked. The plants in this one was easier. I think that's all I put was the one on the counter in the master side. I used the robes and I'll put towels up in the section where the toilet and the shower tub is. I really like this bathroom. Again, kind of odd the way that it's set up. I think if I could redo it in a house where it wasn't quite so condensed, it would have looked better. Um, and maybe that's something that I will do later in a house that I can do this again, is try to redo this so that it doesn't look so odd. Part of it was the doors because the doors had to be on specific parts of the walls or it wouldn't make sense. You couldn't walk through it. So I think part of it was the doors had to be in very specific spots. Otherwise, if I could have moved the door from the second bedroom's sink area into the shower area, if I could have moved that door down closer to the tub and put the toilet in that little one tile nook there, I would have because it would have been perfect, but I just couldn't figure it out. I spent a long time trying to figure that out when I built the shell initially, and then I bulldozed it and started over, and it started making more sense the second time around. Now I've moved on to the master bedroom. I tried to use more green in her room. I know when I made her, her colors were more brown and black. I don't remember if I really used any white. I think I just used brown and black with gold accents. So I tried to bring in the green that I used in the living areas into her bedroom again with the brown. I really like the way this bedroom turned out. I think I like this bedroom more than I like the second bedroom. I really liked the bed, um, and I liked the dresser area. When I finally pick a dresser, it took me a while to figure out the dresser for here too, because it had to fit in that three tile section. And I eventually figured it out, and I put like some plants and like some makeup and stuff up on the dresser to clutter it a little bit. I know when I talked about her when I did the cast video that I said she probably didn't wear a whole lot of makeup, and I still think she doesn't. But I thought it would be nice to have it in there because even if she doesn't wear it very often, I feel like she still would wear makeup on special occasions. So I put a little bit of makeup there on her dresser on the long one. You'll see me pulling stuff out of decor in a minute. I did use that plant, that tall snake plant with the white marble planter. I decided when I was building this house that I will make it my personal goal to use that plant in every single build on this channel. Every single house that I make will have that plant. Eventually, I think I will get to community spaces. I'm still not completely confident in them. I did make a container restaurant, like the containers that they make in Eco Lifestyle. I did make a container restaurant not too long ago um, with a friend's account because my friend has Eco Lifestyle and I don't have it yet. It's in my list to get it next. So maybe when I get that, that will be a build I'll do, just an additional build on the channel. Um, because I really liked the way it turned out and it was a good idea. So I might try to recreate that for the channel later because it did turn out really nicely. Um, and it was nice practice for community lots because I'm just really not that great at them because I feel like community lots are different than residential lots in that residential lots have very specific things that they need. You need bedrooms, you need bathrooms, living room, kitchen, like it's very specific things that you need. And in community lots, while there is a list of things that you need um, in the top left, I feel like it's still more difficult for me because there's not a specific way that you would lay out a community lot, if that makes sense. So I still have a lot of trouble with them, but I'm trying to get better with them. And like I said, I'll try to do that, the shipping container restaurant recreation when I get Eco Lifestyle. I'm hoping to get it here in the next couple of weeks, and that's something that I can do. Here I used this picture on the wall above the bed. I have two of those. One is like abstract, like it looks like the paint's just been thrown on the canvas, and the other one's just like more shapes than anything. And I really like them, and I don't get to use them very often. So I was really excited that I got to use them here because there's a lot of good colors in it. Um, that little picture that I just put on that dresser there is of a little boy with black hair, and I thought that would be cute to say that it was like her son when he was like a toddler. Um, it was really cute, and I had to do it. I'm almost done with her bedroom now, and I gave her a little desk. I didn't put a computer on it because there's a computer in the son's room. I didn't feel like she would necessarily need the desk, but I thought it was nice to have it, especially because there's not like a dining room in the house. The only dining area is at the island in the kitchen. So I thought that was nice if she went in her room and just ate in her room one night or something, whatever. Um, and here in the son's room, I didn't put a whole lot in here. Um, I gave him a desk with a computer. Um, because I put the computer on the desk, he'll have to do his homework probably in the kitchen, which is fine. Normally, when I play and I put empty desks in Sims rooms, they don't do their homework in their bedroom anyway. They usually do it at the dining room table, so I didn't think that it was a big deal. And I try to always put a computer in a house anyway. I thought it made more sense to give it to him because he's a teenager, than to give it to the mom. But either way, if I had put it in her room, I feel like it would have been fine. Um, I tried to keep with the blue theme in here, but I feel like blue shades are more difficult to match and make them not look out of place. Like if I used a bright blue and like a light blue, they don't, I feel like sometimes they look weird together. So I had a more difficult time getting the blue shades correctly here. I put the bookshelf in his room as well. I have a CC of that bookshelf that's completely empty, so you can put whatever you want on it. And so I put the little books on there that they can use as a bookshelf. And then I just put some plants and some pictures. I put like a little incense holder on there. Um, and something else right next to the books. I don't remember what it was, but it'll show up there in a second. So um, after this, I think I just put a couple things on the desk, and I put a rug. I put those vases there. That was what it was. Um, I put a couple things on the desk, and I give him a rug and change the overhead light. And I believe that is the end of the video. So I hope that you really liked this build. It turned out better than I thought it was going to once I started it, because I was having trouble in the beginning. But yeah, I hope you like it. I hope you download the shell from the gallery if you like it. So thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.